So, welcome everyone to Startup Presents Founder Stories, Spokeo. We're sitting here with Harrison Tang, CEO and founder of the company. And as any great tech story goes, there's drama, there's a basement, right? There's pivoting, lawsuits, running out of money, and then a recession on top of it all. So, this should be a very interesting story and a journey to go through. Thank you for doing this. So, without anything else, here's Harrison Tang. Can you tell us about Spokeo, please?
Yeah, definitely. Well, first of all, thank you, Jose. It sounds like you definitely know what the entrepreneur journey looks like,
Yeah.
because yeah, it does definitely have a lot of ups and downs. But today, as a lot of you guys know, Spokeo is a leading people search engine, a people intelligence service that organize about 14 billion records into 600 million profiles to help 15 million unique users a month to search and connect with others. We have different use cases, such as consumers uh, finding long lost families and friends, or actually, as a famous blogger once said, "Spokeo before you date." So dating research is also another use case. On the B2B side, obviously, fraud prevention, fraud mitigation, or law enforcement officers using us to catch criminals. There are quite a bit of use cases. But ultimately, what we're trying to do is we're trying to help people make better informations about people in their lives, right? Helping make the world around us more transparent. So that's our mission, and that's why we're here.
Gotcha. And it's been now what 14 years since you guys started this, so it's been some success and some struggles, but it started at the beginning. First off, where does the idea come from? Like, how do you guys land on okay, we're going to launch Spokeo?
Yeah, so actually, Spokeo is my first and only job so far. So you can say it's the best job and the worst
Done.
job. And we started. Actually, the idea was a social network aggregator. So at that time, Facebook actually wasn't the biggest social network. The number one was MySpace, and Friendster is number three. So every other month, it feels like a new social network for pets, social network for athletes. Every
Sure.
other month, it sounds like VC funded another social network. So the idea was to create this aggregator, right, that helps streamline people's digital lifestyle. And that idea really is just looking at different market trends. But the most important part of this idea is it's sexy enough to convince my roommates to join me, right? Because because without this idea, even though there's a lot of problems with it, for example, later we found out it's very hard to monetize this idea. We couldn't get any VC funding. Our investors are the dumbest investor in the world, which are our parents, right? So there's problems with this idea, but the best part of this idea is it allows me to actually convince my roommates to join the company.
Okay, and these are guys that because you went to Stanford, right? So there's also that on top of the whole tech story, do you have another check mark in there? Were these guys that you knew there? How did they come into play?
Yeah, so one of our co-founders actually my roommates throughout the undergrad and also yeah, throughout the 4 years actually. And actually, there's a little funny story about that. At Stanford, when we first joined, you had to fill out this survey, and you had to talk about when do you go to sleep, what do you like to do, and they will pair up someone that's complete opposite of you, and that person
Okay.
is actually my co-founder. So talking
Uh,
about you know learning how to literally live with someone who has completely different perspectives. So one of the co-founders is my roommates for 4 years. The other one is actually my roommate for my master's program, and the other one lived in the same dorm with us. And the reason why they are all my roommates or dorm mates is actually very simple. Um, I don't have any competitive advantage against like Bill Gates or Mark Zuckerberg, right? They can get much better salaries out there, right? We basically pay them nothing. So the competitive advantage I have is basically saying, hey, if you don't join me, like what kind of roommate are you? What kind of friend are you? That's
Well
basically it.
played.
Yeah.
Yeah, well played. Okay, but I mean, the idea, especially in those times, I'm sure seeing so many social medias coming up, it just kind of makes sense. Okay, how you don't want to miss out on something, and it's something being so competitive. Okay, so that I get that, and then so it's 2006, the idea comes into play. How about the name? Right, Spokeo is like it sounds cool, right? It sounds trendy, like good tech name, but where does that come from?
Yeah. The reason is very simple. The number one reason is because it's free, right? So at that time, any kind of English word already costs like tens of $1,000s, right? If it's a correct spelling English word, it's
Sure.
already costs like that. And then if you want to do misspellings, it's still a couple $1,000s. And Spokeo really, first and foremost, is free. And we want to do something about social relationships, people relationships. So the root word that we pick is hub and spoke, right? Which is a visualization for relationship. So that's the root word. And then at that time, if you append A or O, both of them are available. And we pick O, Spokeo instead of Spokia, because it's a circle. You kind of rounded up the relationship into a circle. So that's the reason. But first and foremost, it's a free domain.
Yeah. No, well done. I mean, look, same with us. We're looking. Everyone wanted the same thing, something that makes sense, that is not too long. But then you run into that, and especially you think the more time goes, you have to get so creative to find something that is not going to cost you $20,000, right? That somebody hasn't thought of that yet. So that's super real.